The following opinions are solely those of BoatTEST.com and its test captain.
Hi, Captain Steve for BoatTEST.com, and today I'm on a boat from Aviara that fills a gap in the marketplace, not so much in size but in features. They did years of market research and focus groups to find out what people were looking for that you just didn't see on a lot of other boats, and they finally came up with this, the AV32. I'm going to put it on a full test and features inspection. Let's start our features inspection right here on the swim platform because this area just offers so much. First of all, comes out 3 feet 10 inches and it's full beam. You can see it clearly extends past the walk-through to the cockpit. There's a 4-step reboarding ladder over to the starboard side. Additionally, underneath the platform, there's an electrically actuated swim step that comes out. Take a look at this grab rail, great for swimmers off the stern. Our test boat is fitted with SeaDeck matting, and notice the random tile pattern layout that we see here and throughout the rest of the boat. 9-inch pull-up cleats are to both sides, and notice that they're up high out of the trip zone, and this is the first of 3 to each side. Now just ahead is a sun pad that measures 34 inches by 68 inches, and we can also convert this into seating. It ratchets into position just like a regular chaise lounge does, 3 across. Underneath, there's storage under each one of these compartments, and the storage compartments all have drains that lead into the bilge. To the port side are the main battery switches and the breaker panel. Beverage holders are to both sides of the seat, and we have a remote control for the stereo right here. Now, we already talked that we have the conversion to the aft-facing seating, but we also have additional seating. Most boats will have either flip seat backs so that we can sit forward-facing, aft-facing, but not both at once. Aviara's got a little bit of a different take on it. Take a look at this. Flip-up bar stool style seating, so now I can sit in the bar stool facing aft, facing forward, while people are still in these seats, and we can enjoy everything that's going on around us. Now this is a good time to talk about the upholstery. This is cool feel vinyl upholstery. Even if this were black, it's still cooler to the touch than white standard vinyl that we're used to, and even in direct sunlight, it feels comfortable on bare skin. As we enter the cockpit, up a 6-inch step, and notice that there's a recessed area in the bulwark so that we can have an optional gate here, and the entryway is angled so that we're not impeding on the seating, and also notice that I don't have to ask people to move out of the way so that I can enter the cockpit area. There's L-shaped seating wrapping around the stern and the port hand side. Notice in the bulwarks, 5 beverage holders, stainless steel, mounted in teak, grab handles, speakers, and there's USB connectivity just ahead. A triangular table could be put on a side mount pedestal right in this position, and directly across is a wet bar that includes a sink, bottle storage that's tall enough to hold wine bottles. Underneath, there's a pull-out cooler, a refrigerated drawer. Just above the drawer, utility drawer, a trash receptacle, and a corner piece of teak with 3 stainless steel beverage holders. And all of this is under the protection of the overhead that runs between 7 feet and 7 feet 3 inches off the deck. It includes LED lighting, and these are RGB lights, so we can make them any color of the spectrum we want. Aft-facing speakers. Look at the stylized support that match the contours of the window by design, and that is only broken up in this section here so that we can reach the midship cleat.
Now, as far as options for extending the shaded area go, there are 2. First is this electrically actuated shade, and another is a bimini that attaches to the trailing edge of the hardtop and gets supported at the rear with carbon fiber poles.
That option can get repeated up at the bow. Now moving forward, we've got an air dam and a closing walk-through windshield, 21 inches at its narrowest. As for seating, we've got L-shaped seating fully forward, a double-wide seat forward-facing. Again, recessed bulwarks have the beverage holders mounted in teak, speakers, and USB connectivity. Just above, nice stylized grab handles. Now, of course, no day boat worth its salt would be anything without having a functional head compartment. This one is not only functional, it's stylish as well. It's located right here next to the helm, and we access it down 2 steps. Plenty of room in this head compartment, 5 feet 9 inches of overhead clearance. There's huge storage over to the starboard side. There's a ceramic toilet with an electric flush, Corian counter with a sink. On the back of the door, there's a mirror just above a small storage cubby, and notice just inside the door there's a grab handle to make it that much easier to get in and out of this compartment. Now, one thing we haven't touched on is the storage on this boat, and it is everywhere. Let's take a look. In the bow, there's storage underneath the seats, there's a cooler underneath the portside seat, and behind that portside seat is additional storage, plus there's even more storage in the deck. Back at the helm area, there's a compartment that includes dedicated storage for the cockpit table and side mount pedestal. In the cockpit itself, under the L-shaped seats, all storage, including storage under the aft section.
And in the walkthrough to the cockpit, there's dedicated storage for the fenders.
Now let's move on to operations, starting with the engine compartment. As we open up the engine hatch, one thing really impresses me on this. Most of the times when we try to access a stern drive engine compartment, this is as far as the hatch will open, but notice this one just keeps on going and keeps on going and finally stops at this point here for unlimited access. I mean, we can even haul these engines out from this point. There's bright LED lighting underneath. Inside, of course, the focal point being the twin Ilmor 6.0 liter 380 horsepower engines. The beauty behind these, really two pieces. First of all, no salt water running through this engine. The only time salt water connects with this engine is through the heat exchange system and the exhaust adapter. Everything else is glycol and a heat exchange system. The second component, all the checkpoints are located at the front of the engine. Dipstick, coolant, drive oil, engine oil, and look at the drip tray around the oil filter. Now the outdrives are built by Yanmar, including the hydraulic cone clutch, which is very silent, silky smooth. Everything else on the outdrives, the trim, the steering, that's all controlled by Ilmor. Looking around the rest of the engine compartment, 2 engine start batteries, breaker panel, that's going to be moved under the seat so it'll be easier to access in the production models. House batteries, fire protection system, battery charger, and 2 raw water strainers. And notice underneath this hatch, fuel fill, and this is repeated over to the other side so we can fuel the AV32 from either side. Fully forward, a turn and lock latch opens up this hatch that gets supported by a stainless steel gas assist strut. And inside, look at this, Lumar windlass leading out to a through the stem anchor roller. An ultra anchor is mounted on top of the roller. There's a cleat for securing the anchor road access to the port hand side, remote control, and an actuator for the washdown is all located here as well. Now when we close this, take a look at what we have going around. Pull-up cleats to both sides, LED dock lights, and pop-up nav light. At the helm, a glass dash consists of a very clean installation of a 10-inch, 12-inch, and 7-inch display. Now the 10-inch display is vertically mounted and it includes switching for all of the vessel's systems. The center one is navigation, and we can also have the gauges integrated in it, but mostly the gauges are dedicated to the 7-inch panel over on the right-hand side. Now quick access buttons are located to the right underneath the engine panel. Trim tabs automatically operating over on the right-hand side. Engine start stops just ahead of the wheel, which is Aviara AV32 has a length overall of 32 feet 6 inches, a beam of 10 feet 4 inches, and a draft of 2 feet 6 inches. With an empty weight of 12,000 pounds, 62% fuel, and 4 people on board, we had an estimated test weight of 13,408 pounds. With the twin 6-liter Ilmor MPI 380 horsepower engines doing the heavy work, we reached our top speed of 54.9 miles an hour at 5,600 RPM. Best cruise came in at 3,700 RPM, where we reached a speed of 34.1 miles per hour. At that speed, the 25.1 gallon per hour fuel burn translated into 1.4 miles per gallon in a range of 203 statute miles, all while holding back a 10% reserve of the boat's 166 gallon total fuel capacity. We had a time to plane of 4.1 seconds, reached 20 miles an hour in 7.6 seconds, and 30 miles an hour came and went in 11.7. What I was most impressed with was the handling characteristics of the AV32. Throughout my performance evaluation, I tried as hard as I could to bring out the worst in this boat, and there just was no worst. She would cut through waves nice and cleanly with no hull slap, no pounding whatsoever. In fact, the only noise we heard while we were cutting through the waves was a hatch up forward that was bouncing, and that can easily be taken care of. She carved nicely through turns with no chine walk, and she bleeds off enough speed so that when you do put it into a power turn, you're not going to throw everyone and everything in the boat over to one side. She stays comfortable throughout. And she reaches her normal cruising attitude of about 5 degrees bow high at maybe 31, 32 miles an hour. Now, we didn't have a lot of chop to work with on our test day, so I can't say how she handles in really rough conditions, but crossing the wake of our camera boat showed smooth transitions across the wake. If we did manage to catch air, she had a smooth re-entry. And again, no pounding, no hull slap. There just isn't anything I could bring out untoward towards this boat's handling.
She's got a European-inspired bow design that starts out plumb before it angles back to its sharp entry. Below that, there's a flare that creates a sort of integrated spray rail to deflect water and create a dry ride. Upon returning to the dock, we got another chance to use that delicate touch on the joystick and found it to be dialed in perfectly. Not only were we able to make a precision approach, but there was none of that annoying clunking into gear, just a smooth shifting in and out of gear. So that great handling we discussed out on the water translated right back to the dock.
Clearly, we've got performance, handling, a unique layout that brings a lot of out-of-the-box thinking to the table, all coming together in the Aviara AV32. And that's my full test and features inspection. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.